It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as two AEW stars have signed a brand new contract. Several AEW contracts are set to expire, including Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes, and his controversial YouTube boxing star Jake Paul heading to WWE. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. NXT UK star Walter has been rumoured to be heading to the main roster of WWE in past months, with him this week posting a photograph of himself looking bulked up ahead of the move. The former NXT UK champion was pictured in Vienna, Austria, looking bigger than ever, with him reportedly heading to the United States for a more prominent role in WWE. In the past, the Austrian has been clear about his lack of interest in moving to the States full-time, with him comfortable in Europe with his family and professional life. With that said, his circumstances have said to have changed, with him splitting with his wife and now dating fellow NXT UK star Ginny. He is currently signed to a top money deal with NXT UK when compared to his colleagues on the roster, and has barely appeared on any US-based WWE shows other than as a special attraction. His new personal circumstances have now apparently changed his mind, this according to the Wrestling Observer, with Walter now willing to make the move. He is easily one of the best talents WWE have on any brand, bringing a level of legitimacy to his work, coming across as a feared, no-nonsense competitor. If WWE use him right, they could have a top main event heel on their hands, but how they will use him remains to be seen. Hopefully he's not stuck in the 24/7 title division within months of the call-up. Last week, the AAA Mega Championship would be vacated, with champion Kenny Omega set to undergo a number of surgeries, meaning he was pulled from his upcoming defense against El Hijo del Vikingo. After the announcement was made, it was revealed that the vacant title will be on the line in a 5-way elimination match in the main event of TripleMania Regia, with Jay Lethal and Samurai del Sol joining Vikingo in the match. The two remaining participants have now been revealed, with the three men being joined by AEW's Bobby Fish, as well as the reigning Ring of Honor champion, Bandido. AAA would release a video onto social media where the Elite's Adam Cole would speak about Kenny Omega's reign as champion, stating that he believes the belt belongs in All Elite Wrestling, which is where Bobby Fish comes in. As for Bandido, he'll be making his first AAA appearance since October 2018, with him having spent most of his previous time in Mexico working for the promotion's bitter rivals CMLL. As of now, there's no word on the nature of Bandido's contract with AAA, with him set to become a free agent at the turn of the year following Ring of Honor's hiatus, with talent free to hold talks with other wrestling organizations. And speaking of Ring of Honor, former ROH World Champion Jay Lethal would sign with All Elite Wrestling earlier this month, signaling the end of his long-running tenure with the promotion. Whilst his days in Ring of Honor are over, Jay will be making one last appearance on ROH TV this weekend, with him set to take on EC3 in singles action. The match was taped before he signed with AEW, although it has been confirmed by Lethal himself that he won't be part of the upcoming Final Battle pay-per-view due to him becoming All Elite, which indicates that this will be his last match there for the foreseeable future. Elsewhere on the show, Gia Scott will take on ROH World Women's Champion Roxy, with PCO teaming with Danhausen to take on the Briscoes. The show will air for free on Fight, with there being a link in the description below if you fancy checking it out. Next up, let's go to some news from Japan, as two of the top promotions in the country are set to go head-to-head on a special one-night event. New Japan Pro-Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah have announced that Night 3 of next year's Wrestle Kingdom 16 event will see the two companies battle it out in a series of cross-promotion matches inside the Yokohama Arena. The poster for the show features Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Shingo Takagi on the New Japan side of things, whereas, and forgive my pronunciation on this, Kaito Kiyomiya, GHC Heavyweight Champion Katsuhiko Nakayama, and GHC Tag Team Champion Keiji Muto representing Noah. On top of the announcement for New Japan vs Noah, IWGP United States Champion Kenta has been announced to be making his Pro Wrestling Noah return on January 1st at the Noah the Best 2021 event inside Budokan Hall. Kenta spent 14 years of his career in the promotion, winning major championships along the way, with this being his first match since 2014 after he joined NXT. Now let's go to some AEW news, as it's being reported that two top AEW stars have signed new contracts with the company. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, are said to have signed long-term deals up until 2026, this according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The Bucks of course played a huge part in the creation of the company, promoting the All In show alongside Cody Rhodes, which ended up being the precursor to AEW before Tony Khan's investment. Whilst the original report states that they are signed until 2026, the duo themselves have taken to their Twitter bio to reveal they are signed until 2024, stating they are ready to party for 2 more years. Matt and Nick have been with the company since it was founded in 2019 and are the longest reigning tag team champions in AEW history. Whilst they are currently out of action due to not being medically cleared, they will return to television with shiny new deals to their name. And speaking of contracts, we have an update on some expiring AEW contracts this time that are set to expire next year in 2022. Speaking on the PW Torch audio show, Wade Keller would reveal that there are a number of wrestlers in AEW that are looking at their contract situation and are figuring out their next move. And he'd say, "There are people who I've talked to in AEW who are looking at their contracts and wondering what their deal is going to be next time when their first deals come up, and how much leverage they're going to have with WWE or New Japan, or heck, GCW with their ticket sales these days, or the indie scene as an option to book yourself. It's going to be interesting." Two of the deals said to be coming to an end are that of Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, with Tony Khan keen to secure deals with their other EVPs after successful negotiations with the Young Bucks. And Keller would add, "I've heard the intent and the hope is that Cody and Kenny and Tony all come to deals. There's not signs that any of them want to leave or are disgruntled to the point that they shouldn't be able to come to an extension, but I don't know the situation. Maybe Cody and Kenny already signed extensions and they kept it quiet. Actually, I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened now that I think about it from people I've talked to. I think Cody and Kenny might be next in terms of signing extensions." Keller would reveal that most of the original AEW roster signed 3-year contracts at the time, suggesting that these are the deals that are set to expire next year. One contract that is known to be expiring is that of Joey Janela, which we discussed in a recent upcoming Free Agents video. Some of the AEW originals have managed to come to terms on new deals since then, with Britt Baker signing an extension in September, before Scorpio Sky signed a 5-year deal earlier this year. MJF is also known to have a contract until 2024, and I'm pretty sure Darby Allin got a new deal too. It does make you think that we could be seeing the end of some of the AEW originals in the company, with the promotion having gone on to sign some huge names to the roster since. Whilst AEW have been sporadic with releases, you'd assume they would be happier to let talent go by letting their contracts expire. That way they'd have kept their word and commitment to the deal, a far more commendable way to let a talent go. And finally, former WWE champion Drew McIntyre spoke with TalkSport this week, where he discussed a possible WWE appearance of controversial YouTube unboxing star Jake Paul, who is one of the most hated individuals in show business. McIntyre would reveal his admiration for the young star, praising his heel attributes and his ability to sell fights based on the hate he receives, and he said, "Jake Paul is a foe of everybody, I guess. He gets it. So few people are willing to be true bad guys and make the public pay to see them get beat, and he is a true bad guy. Whenever I see him at these events and the crowd starts booing him, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's like Muhammad Ali back in the day. Everyone just remembers the good parts and how great he was, but if you remember in the beginning of Ali's career, he was playing the heel and taking inspiration from WWE and playing that character, making people hate him so they would pay money to see him get beat." Whilst comparisons with Muhammad Ali in terms of boxing skills may be way off, Jake certainly knows how to sell a fight and get people talking. Drew would go on to say that he's open for Paul to make an appearance inside a WWE ring, although he'd have a gift waiting for him, and he said, "Jake is basically the #1 heel in the world, so if he wants to swing by WWE and get claymored in the face, that's just fine with me." Jake Paul is set to take on Tyson Fury's brother Tommy next month in a boxing match in his next challenge in the boxing world, with him being the first actual boxer he's faced. Of course, McIntyre has a history with Tommy's brother Tyson, with them both being set to headline a WWE UK pay-per-view before the pandemic struck. The Paul family are no strangers to WWE themselves, with both Jake and his brother Logan being fans of wrestling, with the latter having made an appearance earlier this year at WrestleMania during a match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Love them or hate them, they do sell tickets and pay-per-views, and WWE would be wise to get them both on board in some capacity in the future, as long as Drew keeps his promise and takes Jake out with that claymore. And before you go, make sure you check out my video of the hottest upcoming free agents in wrestling, as many contracts that you need to know are set to expire.